Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome this evening. I see some of our guests in, so let me bring them to the panel. Hope everyone's doing well this evening. Hi, Chris. Hi, Aura. Hi, Otisa. Very nice. Sundiata, welcome, welcome. Hi, Tawana. Keep looking for our guests. Hi, TL.
Hey, what's going on? I'll be on shortly from video.
Okay, take your time. Take your time. Okay, Shanta, I think you're one of my guests. Let me bring you on, dear. Hope everyone had a wonderful day today. Super excited about tonight's conversation. Y'all know I smile like crazy when the Crowd Wall Street team comes on. I am just in awe of them. And I am so excited to actually present to you guys the larger team tonight. So you get to meet all of the team tonight. So that's awesome. Just trying to keep a lookout in the participants list for the rest of your team, Tia.
Should be having 2 more coming on.
Okay, perfect.
Jamsky and Genevieve.
Okay, perfect. Hi, Shanta, nice to see you. Oh, you're on mute.
Grand Rising, nice to meet you.
The 10K family's gonna get a treat tonight because you guys are gonna
We're
tell
getting a treat also.
all about what y'all doing. I'm so proud of y'all. So proud of y'all.
Thanks so much for y'all support. And now this is being aired live, right? So I can share it on my feed and everything.
Oh, hold on. Let me stream. Let me get streaming. I thought Cherie was going to be in here, but let me see if we can get it going. Come on in, everyone. Good to see you all. We are just getting started. I see Genevieve in here. Let's bring her on.
Are you going to be streaming from the Facebook page, the YouTube page? Which page will you be streaming from?
Let me try to do YouTube and Facebook.
Okay.
Welcome, everyone. Give us a moment. Just trying to get this streaming taken care of. Good to see everyone in here tonight. Welcome, welcome, everyone. We are just getting the streaming up. Y'all know Cherie normally does this part. Here we go, Black 10K. Let's see if we have Jamsky yet. Okay, not yet. Okay, I think we're live on Facebook. So now let's do YouTube. Okay, I think we're live on Facebook. So now let's do YouTube. Okay, I think we're live on Facebook. So now let's do YouTube. All right, we don't want to keep hearing that. Let's close that. Okay, I think we're live on Facebook. So now let's do YouTube. All right, we don't want to keep hearing that. Let's close that. Okay, I think we're live on Facebook. All right. We got Jamsky yet?
Not yet, but could get on. We'll bring him in.
Okay.
Oh, he say getting on now.
Okay.
He just text me.
Awesome. We'll give them a few minutes. Welcome, welcome, everyone. Looks like the family's still coming in anyway, so we'll give them a few minutes. Welcome, everyone. Good to see you all this evening. As I said, for the early birds, we've got a treat tonight because, as you guys know, we're always talking about the Crowd Wall Street gang. We got the entire gang here today, or at least most of the gang, right? So this is super exciting. You get to see these beautiful women on the team instead of the handsome gentlemen that we pretty much bring to you all the time. Now you get to see the engine behind the machine. We know. Awesome.
There's no argument there.
Go ahead and put your city and state in the chat, everyone. If you haven't already, you'll know how we do. Just so we can see where everyone is at tonight.
Is the live inside the Facebook group you guys in, or is it on your page?
It's on our Facebook page.
All right, I'll try to share it.
We'll put it on YouTube. I couldn't do YouTube. YouTube wouldn't let me do it.
Okay.
All right. While we're waiting for Jamsky, before we get started, I just want to give a couple of announcements. First of all, again, thank you guys for being here with us another week to hear from the 10K project. For anyone who is new here, my name is Tawana Rivers. I'm the Chief Operating Officer here at 10K. We're super, super excited to talk to you guys this evening and to bring some amazing people in front of you who are doing amazing things in the equity crowdfunding and rewards crowdfunding space. And so we want to highlight them today. We want to talk a little bit about a few things with 10K that are changing. So for those of you who have been rolling with us this entire 2.5, almost 3 years now, we wanted to let you know that there is going to be a pay change with the structure for membership. So we are going to a recurring subscription model versus a one-time payment model. So please check your email for the notification, check the newsletter that we send out, check the information we're putting on the Facebook page. So we are going to a subscription model. For those of you who are already gold members and you're thinking about upgrading to the platinum membership, which included the 6 months financial planning session with Freeman Capital, our Black-owned financial planning partner, you want to go ahead and upgrade now to that package. If you've been sitting on the fence, you've been thinking about it, now's the time. That package will go up as well. And so I've had a couple of calls where people said, well, Tawana, I'm not ready for it yet. Like there's a couple of things I still need to do with my credit, with my finances. What I said to them was consider upgrading it and you don't have to use it right away. And then you'll be able to get in at the lower price. But as of May 1st, that's next week, the prices will increase. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about that because we've been talking about it for the last couple of weeks. Check your emails, what I want to say. You don't want to miss that. All right.
Jamsky say,
I see him there. All right. But tonight is not about the 10K project. Tonight is all about Crowd Wall Street. So we are going to give them all of our attention. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. Again, I'll share with everyone who's on now how excited I am. I was excited about y'all before y'all got the approval, right? So when y'all got approved, I was just in heaven. And so now watching everything unfold and all the pieces come together, because I stalk y'all, I got to admit it. I stalk you in a very good way. Hi, Jamsky. I want you guys to tell the community, first introduce yourselves, and then let's jump right in and talk about all of the things you're doing. I don't want to delay. I don't want to waste time talking about other stuff. I want this to be about you guys tonight and see how we can continue to support you.
Cool. I guess I'll jump it off. My name is Boyce Williams, better known as TL Williams. CEO of Crowd Wall Street, co-founder of Crowd Wall Street Rewards, co-founder of Crowd Wall Street, Wisconsin, co-founder of Crowd Wall Street. I say that one for the last, but that's who I am. Go ahead, Jen.
What's going on, everybody? Jamsky here, also co-founder of all the Wall Street brand, Crowd Wall Street brands that we have. I'm excited, man. I'm ready to get this thing going.
Nice.
Brand Rising, everyone. I'm Shantae Lene Herford, and I am the brand strategist for Crowd Wall Street.
Hello, everybody. My name is Genevieve Carvel-Harris, and I am co-founder of Crowd Wall Street Rewards. So very excited to be here tonight.
Very nice.
And we have LaShondra Johnson, who is also couldn't make it here today. I'm sorry, Professor LaShondra Johnson. She
right.
just
Some
became a
respect
professor.
on that.
Yes. So LaShondra Johnson, she's part of Crowd Wall Street Rewards as well.
Very nice. Very, very good. So that's a good place to start. So talk to us about Crowd Street Rewards first, right? Because we often know that the first phase of crowdfunding oftentimes starts with rewards for companies that are product-based before they then determine that they'd like to be able to move over to the equity side. So that's actually a perfect place to start. So Genevieve, you want to tell us about the rewards platform and just give us a little, for anyone who's new to the 10K project platform, just give us a little summary on what rewards crowdfunding is and how you guys come into play.
Absolutely.
Genevieve, before you start, let me give you the backstory first.
Okay.
So when Crowd Wall Street originally started, our thought process was to start off as a reward-based crowdfunding platform. And eventually, make a long story short, me and Jamsky was like, why not have both? Because we understood the dynamics of having a reward-based and an equity-based platform. And so instead of us trying to pick and choose which one we want to start off with or which one we want to do, we decided to do both platforms. So at first, when we first started, Crowd Wall Street was a reward-based and an equity-based platform within itself. But obviously, going through the regulations and talking to the risk managers, they was like, nah, you can't do that. And so that's how we did a spinoff, and we created two separate entities. And now we have the reward-based, which Genevieve and LaShondra operate under, and then we have the investment platform to create that ecosystem. But we'll talk more about that. Go ahead, Genevieve.
Absolutely. It's always good to operate in a business with my family. So anytime we just need to pick up something, the other one does. And so I absolutely love that. And it's good to see Black family. Come on, we're doing it. And so I'm very excited. So with our Crowd Wall Street Rewards, as we've been mentioning, for those of you that are just coming in and you're saying, oh my goodness, I want to raise capital for my business, but I do not want to give up equity, i.e. ownership of my company. Sometimes we like to watch shows like Shark Tank, and we will see individuals who have these amazing businesses come to investors and say, I want you to have equity in my company. Unfortunately, what happens is because so many people in the early stages of their business, when they're building, they hand out equity so easily that by the time they really need investors in their companies, they don't even have enough equity for those individuals to even want to invest anymore. And you'll see that happen time and time again on Shark Tank when they say you don't even have enough to really make sure that you're making a profit and that we're making a profit. And for that reason, we aren't going to do a deal with you. So with Crowd Wall Street Rewards, what we are doing is allowing for entrepreneurs and founders to come onto our platform and raise capital for your companies, for your businesses, so that you can actually further what you're trying to do without exchanging equity or ownership of your company. And the crowd goes, ooh. And the crowd goes, ah. You want to make sure that you are keeping ownership for as long as you possibly can. And what it allows for you to do is to build a community and build support for what it is that you're doing. So when you start a campaign with us, we are asking you all of the backstory questions of your business. Is this a legal entity? Are you still just trying to do this on your own, or have you actually formed your corporation? Have you formed your business? Is this an idea that is actually going to be profitable and sustainable to you? Because people don't want to invest in something that's going to be gone tomorrow. And so what we do is we try to make sure that all of the companies that come through our doors are actually presenting something worth investing in. It's just that you don't have to exchange equity. So we do ask for pitch decks. We do ask for those videos for you to let people know what it is that you're doing and pitch to them your business and why they should support you in your endeavors. And then what we do is allow for you to have a campaign. That campaign raises the money that you say that you're going to raise, and then you don't have to exchange equity and ownership in your company. So
very good. Do the founders that come through rewards-based crowdfunding always have to have a physical product?
No, they don't have to have a physical product, actually. What we found is that service-based organizations can also use this. We've been talking to some nonprofit organizations as well who are giving services and impact, and we encourage that because that promotes jobs, that promotes the community to be helped. And so we love to talk to founders who have a social impact as well as having just products, you know, that they can give. We also encourage for individuals who have to do like app development, and they're really in the beginning, but they have prototypes and they're trying to figure out how they're going to get that capital raised for the apps that they're trying to create online. Those things work as well.
Very good. Very good. All right. What's next in the portfolio? Because I heard you rattle all that off. That can get lost on me, TL. Come on, keep it coming. I know what y'all been in the lab doing, working hard.
Just to piggyback on what Genevieve was saying is our whole ideal is to create an ecosystem, and that's been our goal before we even got approved. We don't want to be, which we heard before with other platforms that, and it's most of these crowdfunding platforms operate like VCs, and typically what happens is sometimes when entrepreneurs go to a crowdfunding platform and pitch their business, and then the response would be, you're not ready yet, come back in 6 months or come back in a year. And then the founders are left with, okay, come back for what? If I don't know what needs to be fixed or be done, what I'm coming back for, you're gonna tell me the same thing. So for us, our thought process is this. If, for example, if a founder comes to us, for us on the equity side, and they want to do an investment crowdfunding platform, our first thing is we always interview the founder. We always have a conversation with them. They have a pitch deck. We look at their pitch deck. We have a conversation with them. From there, we'll know, okay, you're not ready yet. But instead of saying come back in 6 months, based on our strategic partnerships and based on our reward-based platform, we were like, okay, right now you're not ready for equity, but you can do a reward-based. You don't have any traction right now. You don't have any social proof. Like, you don't even have a community behind you. So you're going to be unsuccessful coming on our investment platform. So work with Genevieve them, because Genevieve them has a background with capacity building and that nature. So she didn't talk about that, but they have an experience to help you build that community and build that your business up the right way. Nice. Start off with reward base, get some traction, get some social proof. Then down the road, you can have the opportunity to do an equity raise, because now if you look at it as, if I'm able to raise $30,000 or $40,000, even $100,000 on a reward-based platform, not only did I raise the money, but now I have a community behind me. Now I have social proof. Now I have proof in the pudding. So now if I decide to do an equity round or even a debt round, I have an email list that I can tap into to help me raise an additional round. And so that's really how we look at our funnel process and our ecosystem, and not just as a platform, but then strategic partnerships. We know you guys do an awesome job educating investors and founders on the crowdfunding space. And obviously, you know, there's a fine line of how much we can do as a platform. So when we say, okay, as a founder, you just need more hands-on, or as an investor, you're not too sure how to invest in crowdfunding, we have strategic partnerships like you guys that we can just direct these people to. And so that's really how we look at it, and we're passionate about what we do. And like we said before, me and Jamsky always talk about this, we lead with education and transparency. And so with Shantae has a dual enrollment where she's from Atlanta and Wisconsin. I'll let her talk as well. And there's a great opportunity for the state of Wisconsin. And so we became the first Black-owned crowdfunding platform in the state of Wisconsin. And right now we're in the process of working with, incubators and accelerator programs in Wisconsin, because there's a great need in that state as well. So we actually are official up and running for the state of Wisconsin. And I don't know, Shantae, you can kind of talk about your background and what you're doing, your affiliation with Wisconsin, and share with them some of the things that you're doing in Wisconsin as well.
Thanks, CL. Brand Rising, thanks so much for having us. It's been a pleasure. I've been following you guys' channel. You do a great job of definitely educating about the crowdfunding space. So thanks so much for all that you do. As TL said, I am Shantae Lene Herford. I'm the brand strategist for Crowd Wall Street, as well as co-founder of Crowd Wall Street, Wisconsin. I am a tri-state resident. I split my time up between Wisconsin, Illinois, and Georgia. And it's one of the reasons is because I'm very passionate about the people there in Wisconsin and Illinois. They're on the borderline of Beloit, Wisconsin and South Beloit, Illinois. For one, I was born in the state of Wisconsin. I was born and raised between both states. And I learned during COVID that the Black people in that community are making almost $5,000 less now than they were making 20 years ago. So it just made me kind of feel more concerned about the things that were happening back home, and how could I contribute the knowledge and things that I had gained from moving and having exposure to different industries and markets and information, and use those resources and connections in order to empower my hometown community that most of my family lives in. So of course, I definitely have a true investment in passion about the community. And so when I started doing additional research, of course, we learned about the Interstate opportunity to do a crowdfunding platform there in Wisconsin. So we were able to register and become the first Black-owned platform in Wisconsin, which was huge. And now we're just taking that momentum and building relationships and rapport with different entities in Wisconsin, helping them to first understand the basics of crowdfunding and how important and how impactful it can be on a community. So I have a nonprofit organization called the Center for Truth and Healing. And what I've kind of done is leverage that nonprofit in order to do lunch and learns that we're starting this summer, where we can teach the basics of crowdfunding. Of course, provide a free lunch. You got to get people there. People love to eat and they love free stuff. So that way we can get people in the door, educate them, and just guide them on the steps on what they need to do in order to align themselves to be able to launch their campaign on Crowd Wall Street. In addition, another entity that I happen to be the president of is Beloit Black Wall Street Investment Cooperative, which is a cooperative that I formed basically for the same reason, to unite those who are underserved and those who have an interest in investing but don't know kind of where to start at. And we just pull our resources together, possibly launch our own crowdfunding campaign to raise money, right? And then we go ahead and we invest in different things that can put money in our members' pockets, as well as empower and spur economic development in Beloit and the South Beloit community. So that's what I do. And I do the branding and for Crowd Wall Street, Wisconsin. And now I'll be taking over and helping with the reward side too.
Wonderful. So is the law in Wisconsin like in some of the states where only residents can invest?
Yes, ma'am. It's the interstate law. So the law in Wisconsin, it has two parts. If you have unaudited financials, then you can raise, I believe it's $1 million. But if you have the audited financials, you can raise up to $2 million in the state of Wisconsin. But it has to be, of course, only from Wisconsin residents and investors.
Very good. So that's really good to know. So for all of our family members that are in Wisconsin, you essentially get kind of two opportunities, right? To utilize in ways to utilize the platform from an equity standpoint. So consider that. And that's really good. Even if you're a founder, I mean, unaudited, you can still raise $1 million. That's huge. That's huge. Because so many founders get caught up because they don't have the money for the audited financials, right? Because it's not just like just to having the accountant do a regular assessment. Some accountants are charging thousands of dollars for these audits. And so that holds many founders that I'm talking to, it holds them back. So that is wonderful.
And that's the beauty of Interstate. Wisconsin is one of them. We don't plan on taking over the whole United States, but Wisconsin is one of them. Florida would be our second one.
Okay.
And the beauty of, and majority of us are from Florida, particularly Miami. Which you probably seen the reward that we got from the city of Miami Gardens.
It was awesome. That was
Yeah.
beautiful.
And so the beauty of Interstate is that it is really beneficial to like small businesses, local businesses, because number one, with an interstate crowdfunding offering, the barrier of entry is real low. It's not that much documents, Form C, and things of that nature that you have to do on a federal regulated equity crowdfunding platform. So it's a great tool for those small businesses that don't have reach, where they can probably reach someone in a different state, but they do have a local community that they can tap into and still have the possibility of raising $1 million. I think that's a great, start, when it comes to interstate crowdfunding. And if they're putting dollars behind their marketing campaigns, they don't have to put so much dollars behind the market, because they're not trying to reach someone way in a different state somewhere. They can just do it right from their own local community, which saves them marketing dollars. Now, if they decide to do another round on a larger scale, again, the same thing with Crowd Watch Rewards, you will have community, you will have some skin in the game, you can have, social proof that you raised capital before. Now you're trying to expand. And maybe before I talk about that, we'll get to that later, but that's the beauty of interstate crowdfunding. I'm trying to watch my mouth, but that's the beauty of our interstate crowdfunding platform.
Nice. So Genevieve takes me under her wing. I'm a founder. She takes me under her wing. She determines that maybe I'm ready for rewards instead of equity, or maybe I'm ready for equity, right? Or I go through rewards and you guys help me get ready, and now I'm ready for equity or debt, right? So we'll talk kind of equity, debt in the same way. Now what? Now where do I go in the ecosystem?
So if you already completed the reward base and you're ready to do equity, or you're just ready for equity, one is there'll probably be a email introduction from Genevieve or LaShondra letting us know, hey, this person is ready. We still will require that person to apply. You can find that on our website. You just click apply. And then we have, who we didn't mention, Ericka Williams, who is our compliance officer. She typically handles all of our scheduling and back office stuff. And so she would schedule an interview with myself or Jamsky, where we'll talk with that person. And if that person, we feel like that person is a good fit, they're ready to go. Once we get off that call, Ericka would send out an email, and that email will pretty much lay out the step-by-step process. To the point where the Form C, because even with the Form C, we actually have a Form C checklist that we provide them that will help them throughout the whole process of filling out that Form C. We also have a software company that we partner up with that actually help facilitate them going through that Form C. As all of us know in this call, unfortunately, it is expensive getting your financials audits and getting legal advice. And so one of our goals was saying, hey, how can we provide a more affordable way for these founders to get what they need to get done? And so when it comes to Form C, it could be scary for someone who never did crowdfunding before, who never saw a Form C. It's like, what is this? And so
we just did a Form C training 2 weeks ago. We actually pulled it up,
nice.
Walked them from top to bottom. We talked about everything in between, and the community loved it because they were like, we've been seeing these. When you tell us to do our due diligence, we've been going to it, but we don't really know what we've been looking at. So we did a complete training on it, and it was well received.
That's why y'all dope, because it's needed. And so once they, we help them out with the Form C as far as providing them a checklist. They have the ability to do it on their own with the checklist that we give them. But if they need more hands-on, we have a software that's $1,500. They have an option. It's $1,500 up front for the software, or they can pay $500 up front and $2,000 on the money that's raised on the back end. So either 15 or 500, and that software would like really hold their hand throughout the whole process. Like each question, like from a founder standpoint, each question that comes up, there's a description that explains what that question means and how to answer that question.
Kind of like TurboTax.
Definitely like TurboTax.
And that was not an endorsement. TurboTax is not a sponsor of the 10K project. I'm just saying that. But that's good. It walks them like that's
it walks them through. So once they go through that, they have an option to submit it, and that form, that software will actually submit it for them to the SEC. So they have an option to just to go ahead and submit if they're confident, they good, because we look at it as well before they submit it. So we look over to make sure, just to double check. But they have an option to have an attorney to actually review it for them for $1,000.
Okay.
And so that attorney will actually sit down and review it and go back and forth with them. If they have to change something, they may have some questions on something, but the attorney will help them. So when you look at, because we have a securities attorneys that we have, but we know it's cost. So if those individuals that can't afford him, this is the option. So his cost alone is about $5,000. So the process that I just told you, you'll be spending between $2,500 to $1,500 up front for the whole process, which is cheap.
That's
very affordable.
Right. For anybody that's sitting
work.
there thinking $1,000, $1,500, that's hot. No, it's not. Not in this space. In this space, that's a steal. That's a steal in this space.
Yep.
So, man, $1,000 just to review it. That's I'm telling you, the guys. And so for anyone who's watching or gonna watch the replay, and you're thinking about launching a campaign via equity, rewards, or whatever, what I'm hearing is that these guys have really thought through scenarios that are going to help you be successful and remove all the barriers to entry. Because one of the biggest things we hear with the barriers are cost is at the top of it. I have this great product, or I have this great idea, but I don't have the money to start up, right? And so, what other ways are you kind of helping them through the whole continuum of the process? So you've helped them simplify the Form C, right? You're giving them the tech to be able to obviously raise the money. What other ways are you kind of wrapping yourselves around them and helping them through this process?
Let me speak to this, right? That's a great question, Tawana. Jamsky here for everybody that's in the audience, right? So going back to the, kind of to give a little history and put things into context. When we built this team for Crowd WallStreet, right? Everybody that you see here and everybody that's not here are well qualified. So understand, when we're talking about Genevieve, like my sister Genevieve right there, right? Genevieve,
that's your sister. I didn't know that.
But that's no family. As a family, we family.
Okay.
Family, right?
We all family. Gotcha.
We all family, right. So we can start with Genevieve, right? Genevieve, like the things that she do as far as like helping people build their businesses, Genevieve is humble. She's had 2 people on different occasions make $1 million within a day time frame or within a month's time frame. This girl don't even talk about it. This one of the young ladies, I'm a friend of a friend of mine, that's his sister or whatnot, and she's on magazines, her not magazines, but on like what is it called, tabloids or whatnot, that has circled, that's been circulated around the whole social media thing, right? And it's because of Genevieve, right?
So
this girl had a business.
Nice.
Yeah, viral. There we go, viral. So this girl had this business, and she came to Genevieve and became a mentee of Genevieve, and she's doing astronomical numbers. Where if somebody did $1 million in a year, let alone that amount of sales in a short amount of time, you know what I'm saying? And that's somebody who we have on our team, Shantae, who has other businesses that she's worked with, like some dope people, and work with people and connections behind the scenes that we don't even speak of. And when you talk about building brands, this is what she do. We have meetings and Shantae, do this like that. Okay, let's go. So when you're dealing with Crowd WallStreet, understand that when it comes to public speaking, right? LaShondra is one of the best public speakers in the city of Miami. We had an event, and people was blown away how she's able to project, how she's able to get information across, like how she can help people structure their businesses to where they can pitch their companies to investors. This is what she do. So everybody have these things that they were already doing and successful in before they even came to Crowd WallStreet. So everybody say, well, why don't I just go to Start Engine or go to what's the other one? The rewards ones.
Some of those other ones.
I don't even want to. I don't even know. It don't even matter.
Yeah,
but the thing is, we have people who have went to these other platforms and they come back to us And it's because they didn't have that handheld, they didn't have that love. Like when we help our people, we treat our people like family. When you get to talking to one of us, it's like, I love the Crowd Wall Street family because I had these kind of questions and we're able to ask them. I'm gonna answer them. You're not going to get that with Start Engine, with the other rewards. You're not going to get that with those platforms. Here you go to the website, do your campaign, and then that's it. And it just, you know what I'm saying? But when you come to us, what company, crowdfunding company, do you know where the founders, me and TL was taking calls after calls at one point in time where we was like helping founders. You're not going to get that from Start Engine. Start Engine isn't going to help you structure your campaign in a way to where you can have as high of a possibility of that campaign being successful as possible. You're not going to get that with a lot of these other platforms. Just like put this up here, and once you get 100,000, then we're going to give you some attention. Whereas for us, you're getting us from the jump. And we're all, I come from a finance background. I help businesses get funding. I help people fix their personal credit. But my thing is, I want to go past that, right? It's 1,000,001 people doing that. How can we get to that next level? How can we raise capital amongst our peers and scale and leverage that capital to either buy commercial real estate or buy companies or scale and grow our own companies? Right? How can we structure companies in a way to where we can go from doing the day-to-day work, being owner operated, to working on our companies? So my thing is mindset. How can we get from thinking the same way that millions upon millions of people have been thinking over all these years and centuries, and nothing has happened? How can we change that narrative? So that is Crowd Wall Street's goal. That's our goal, that when you come to us, even if you don't have a successful campaign, you had a successful campaign. And when I say that, I mean that we structure your business in such a way you didn't get the money that you wanted to get, but now when you go back to your business, you know what you need to do moving forward. Okay, we already help you get all those things together and structure moving forward. So when you come to us and you want to raise $1 million and it's like, no, you don't have this, let's get you right. Because everybody specializes in those different things to help your business be successful. You know what I'm saying? So that's how we come up with Crowd Wall Street.
That's good. And so Form C assistance, right? So that's the legal piece. Now you got some marketing and brand management, right? That's going on, right?
Yes.
You got the pitch. The public speaking is the pitch, right? Because I can tell you, we've got, here at 10K Project, we do our Bet on Black pitch, right? Don't believe what you heard. We got it trademarked, right? So I know you didn't see it somewhere else, but don't worry, it's ours. So we have our Bet on Black pitches, right? Where we bring our founders in and pitch to our investor community. Some of the founders are amazing. They blow you away. Some of them, the product and or service is amazing, but they need a little help, right? Yes. So, and they're not getting that help at the other unnamed portals, right? Instead, now that's another cost they may have to do to go hire someone to coach them in that way. If they're lucky enough to be told, you got to work on that, right? So if somebody's honest enough with them to say, you probably could have done this, or maybe say it this, or do this to present yourself better. And so what I'm hearing you say is you're giving them all of that support. What else are you doing to help them be successful?
Well, before I go any further, let me clarify now. So we're going to give you the support. We do 15-minute calls or whatnot, just to kind of tell you what needs to be done, or if you qualify right now, right? And Genevieve has a question. But now understand that we all have things that we offer within Crowd Wall Street Rewards, Wisconsin, and Crowd Wall Street. But however, we have things that it's going to be a separate charge now. So don't get it twisted.
Okay.
However, our charges outside of the things that we do for the people is not going to be nowhere in excess of what somebody else would charge you.
Gotcha.
We don't hit our people across the head. So understand it. So I want to clarify that. Okay. We're running a business.
That's good clarification.
Okay.
This is not a nonprofit. This is still a business, and time is money. But you're still providing them with the resources that they need to be successful at a nominal cost that also helps them succeed. You're not trying to bleed the pockets.
We want to make sure everybody succeeds. So that's that. Now we also have Crowd Wall Street University, where we just had, we had some meetings, and we're going to start cultivating that group. Crowd Wall Street University is another way to educate our founders and investors before they come on the platform. Our thing is, like T.O. said, is we lead with education and transparency. We want to be as transparent as possible, and we want to educate you as much as possible. Okay, before you come on here, people are still trying to learn the business credit and the personal credit and LLCs and stuff like that. Now you're talking about crowdfunding is a whole nother atmosphere. Okay, so we want to make sure we educate you as much as possible. YouTube, Facebook groups, and then when you reach out to us or whatnot, right? So that's that. Now, Shantae, Genevieve had questions. Don't let them go ahead and go.
Go ahead, ladies. Shantae, you want to go first?
I was just going to expound on what Brother Jamsky said as far as like some of the unnamed platforms. I was one of those people that had the experience of going on another unnamed platform, not getting the proper guidance or education. And, it doesn't matter whether it's Black owned, white owned, those platforms aren't set up really to help you be successful. They're really just there to help you raise money. They expect you to know what you're doing when you come on their platforms. So I unsuccessfully listed campaigns early in the day before, I started learning more about the crowdfunding industry. And I had that same experience. So I was unsuccessful. I didn't get the support that I wanted. Of course, I didn't raise the money that I wanted to also. And I think that our platform, well, I know that our platform is definitely more empowering because we want to make sure that you have that education, that you have those resources. And we're really passionate about helping entrepreneurs for real. So it's not like about money with us. It's really about helping entrepreneurs be successful on our platform. So when people say, well, what have you done so far? Or one of the things that we're finding out is that a lot of people who think that they're ready to raise money, just like I thought when I was ready, aren't really ready to raise money. So we're finding that we are finding ourselves more as educators to prepare people to get ready to raise money on our platforms. So when those who may go visit our website, if you see that and you have questions like, well, why isn't there anyone there now? Or why, that's the challenge. So we want to make sure that we're leading with that education and transparency so that we can make sure that when you come on our platform, you have all your ducks in a row and you are ready to sell.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And so as a result of that, because we were finding that as well, that a lot of people we were talking to just weren't ready. And so we actually, shameless plug for 10K Project, we actually created both a beginner's course and a full advanced course. The beginner's course really helps founders answer that question for themselves. Am I ready? Right? And so if you go to roadtocrowdfunding.com, you'll see our courses. The full course is once you decide you're ready, then we just throw up all over you, right? We tell you all the things, like 21 modules of here's everything you need to do that's going to get you to success, right? Yeah. And that's from interviewing founders who have had success, founders who didn't, who know exactly what they did wrong, right? Or what they didn't know early enough to make a big impact, right? Because I love that you said, even if you don't raise what you thought you wanted to, it was still success, right? Because you know more than you did when you went in. And so the next round, you'll be even more successful. But right. The other part of that is the expectation, right? Being able to say, okay, I know the regs say you can raise 5 million, but first of all, do you even need 5 million? Let's start there, right? I know it sounds good. Like I could use 5 million, but do I need 5 million? And you want to make sure your expectations in the goalpost is realistic. If you only need 1 million, then just try to raise the million, right? And so that's the other thing that we talk a lot about is make sure that your goals meet what you're able to do based on the resources you have, the knowledge you have, and then the money you have, depending on where you go, right? What portal you go to. So I love that. I love that you guys are getting in there, giving the support and really building, first of all, the fact that the founders, right, are having the initial conversations tells me how connected you are to this business and how much you care about the founders. From the very first conversation, where does that happen at, right? Where you get to speak to the owners, right, from jump. So that tells me something about your character. Well, it tells the people something about your character. I already know about your character, but that tells the people something about your character and the kind of people you are, right? That this is more than a business model to you. Like you went into this with a mission. You haven't talked a lot about that, but I happen to know that this was purposeful. This was a mission. And even while you were waiting for the approval, you were building this thing like the approval letter was already in the mail to you. right? And that's what I know about you. And that's what the people need to know about you is you had already claimed this thing, and everything you do is about how the people can be better and really start doing this thing that we keep calling generational wealth, and how we throw that term out there like it's just we just throw it all up in the air, right? That's all we do. And so you are out there really doing something about how to create it, both from that investor side, right? And from that entrepreneur side, which is why for me personally, as a founder of the 10K Project, I love everything you're doing because it's so in line with our mission, right? And so I send everybody your way, right? About anything. I can't wait for all the campaigns to be live because that's where they're coming.
I wanted to say something.
Go ahead, Genevieve.
Right. Like Jamsky and all of the team has said, we tend to be modest because we don't necessarily care about what we've accomplished. We care about the fact that we are well equipped to make sure that you are successful. We are looking for the next success stories. We already know what we've been able to accomplish. We made history in this country. Like we know what we're doing. We are trying to make sure that you become a part of history and that you understand that we all need your stories now. It's not just about us and what we're able to do, but now we need to empower you to have your story, because that is how we build generational wealth, by making sure that you are activated in your own voice, in your own power, to know what you are here to do for the community, and to know that you have just as much weight in your own business as we do in ours. And with our platforms, I do want to say, because we have not mentioned it, and I want to say that Jamsky did a great job of making sure that everybody knew that, yes, we do provide things, but there are some other services, just because it's our time, clearly, but we don't knock people over the head because we care about the founders, right? But what I do want to mention as well, just so that we can have clarity, is that we are an all or nothing campaign platform. So what that means is, if you come to us and you tell us that you need a certain amount of money and you do not raise said amount of money, that money will go back to those who have contributed to you. It will not go to you for you to take a trip to Cancun. We think you should have your own vacations, but not on the investors.
Right. Not on the investors' back, right?
Right. So we are very, very protective of that process. Yeah. And so I want to make sure that we do say that if you do come to us, and because we care, we will be talking to you and seeing what you actually need, and how you actually need to move forward. So if you do come and you want to raise $1 million, but as you said, you don't need to raise $1 million, and we can bring that number down to something that is going to be manageable for your company, however is going to be impactful for that company, then we will bring it down, because you can always raise more than the lowest amount, but you cannot say that I'm going to raise $1 million, raise 900,000 and think you're going to get that money. It's not going to happen. And so we care enough to educate you and let you know what's going to be best, as we see before you even make that campaign, what's going to work best for you. And I wanted to say that before we continue. I thought that was important.
Thank you for that. So now I want to get to, because what you've described, as somebody who's been in the space for a few years, I think it's amazing. But you also got some next level stuff coming, right? So I want to hear about some of that. I want you to tell me how you're using the new industry of blockchain technology and tokenization of assets. Like, I want to talk about how you're taking this to the next level for our people. First of all, exposing them to what kind of things that to these types of opportunities, but then also doing it and building wealth that way. Because many of us are in that space and know that things like tokenization of assets, like real estate and businesses and all of those things that's where wealth is going to be built. So tell us a little bit about that. And I also would love to know why that. Why was that a logical move?
So for one, that's the future. So we already know that's where everything is heading at. And so what we did was, again, creating strategic partnerships. And now with our tokenizations, we have it already integrated in our software, where if a founder raised capital from 500 to 1,000 investors, what we have, which additional costs, but what we have is a cap table management.
They're gonna keep saying that so we don't get that twisted. Additional.
Hey,
They said, like, no. No, no.
So basically, like the way it works is, and it's completely optional. It's completely the founder's choice. But if a founder choose to have a cap table where they can easily manage all their investors, we have a software for that. And it's reasonable. 300 up front, and I can disclose this, 300 up front, and then 175 every month. And the software helps manage all the investors. That way, if you have to send out updates, send out emails, instead of you using an Excel sheet or trying to send out an email to every investor, everything, all your investors is managed there. You can send them documents, you can send them signatures, updates, everything's there. And one of the things we tell founders that we talk about with this is that add that into your fundraising. If you know 175 times 12 is this, I need to add that to my fundraiser so I can leverage other people's money to get what I need to get done. And so with that being said, with that cap table management, where you can manage your investors, you also have the ability to tokenize the shares of your investors. You can tokenize all the investors, or you can tokenize maybe 10 or 20 of them who may qualify to get it, however you want to structure it. But you can tokenize their shares where it can be on the blockchain. Now, the beauty of this is that, number one, we know when an investor invests in a crowdfunding platform offering, they can't sell their securities up until after 12 months, right?
Right.
So the beauty is that it helps create a streamlined and easy accessible way for a founder to sell their share on a blockchain. Now, you may have a founder, for example, I was just telling this to somebody yesterday, you may have an investor that may have invested in your offering that just say down the road, that $100 investment may be worth $1,000 now. And then you know how some investors are like, look, I don't want to wait till that pumpkin will pump. I want to get my $1,000 now, right?
Right.
So if you're impatient and you don't want to play the long game, now what they have now is ATS, which is, I think, alternative trading systems now, where now you can list your share on a similar, like a stock exchange. Right. So now you can tokenize your share and do it on a blockchain where you don't have to wait for a company to have a liquidity event, whether they go public or get acquired by the company. Now you can list your token on the exchange and sell it to another investor. And that, to me, is game changing. And the fact that we have that integrated in our software is game changing. And one of the things we're working on now is seeing how we can incorporate cryptocurrency now on our platform. Now you can exchange crypto, whether it's, Bitcoin or the other crypto inside our software. And that's just the beauty of it, of everything. And we getting ready to put some educational materials on our website to talk about tokenization and how it works, so our people can be, well educated on how that process works. But we are excited for that. That's something that just literally happened that we have on our platform. So we are excited to have that that's that extra feature on our platform.
Yeah, I was super excited. So I cheated a little. So I actually am friends with somebody that you kind of know. And so you had a discussion with somebody, and they called me because they were so excited about your discussion. And so then I saw the announcement online and I was like, yes, I was so excited because you're absolutely right. Game changing. So when we ask, so if somebody's saying, why Crowd Wall Street versus one of those other players that we're not talking about tonight, right? This is one of the reasons why, right? This is what you've heard tonight is the reason why. Everything that they're doing, the reason they're doing. And remember, just so anybody have amnesia, how 10K Project started is we were going to be the portal because portals that existed at the time were turning away Black entrepreneurs, right? So let's just go back a little bit, right? They were turning us away. They weren't telling us why, right? So I love that this team is saying, we're just saying you're not ready, not yet. Here's what you need to do, right? So you're giving them that information because that wasn't happening in the previous world, right? Then George Floyd happened and, Black people got a little sexier to everybody, right? Everybody in the country loved us all of a sudden, right? And then started to accept us, but they are still not giving the kind of service that we deserve, right? And so, and for those of you who were on our Bet on Black pitch last week, Tuesdays, you actually heard, if you came early before we hit recording, you may not have heard it because I don't think we recorded that part. But if you were in my early birds, you came the first 10 minutes, you heard our founders start having dialogue about all the deficiencies on the portals that they are currently on, right? And so they're not getting what they need. They're not getting what they deserve. The promises made are not being upheld, right? So I'll say that. And so what I'm hearing here is that, and the other thing I'll say is, oftentimes they don't even get not even the attention, they don't even get the follow-up. You know, I had one founder say, I haven't heard from my account rep in months. And I was like, well, what do you mean you haven't heard? Like, you don't know their name, you don't know their number, you don't know the email, the neighbor. She was like, well, yes, Tawana, I do, but they're not responding back. That's a problem, right? That's a problem. If you've been assigned to me by the portal to assist me through the process, when I email and call, I mean, at some point you got to respond to me, right? Even if we have to come to terms with what timely means, right? Once we do that, yeah, because I think timely is like immediately, right? But somebody else thinks timely is 2 days. Okay, let's come to terms with, okay, at least within 2 days, I'm gonna hear back from you. But the conversation I was having, it was weeks. So that's unacceptable.
Yeah, so
unacceptable when you're giving 7% in some situations, more than that, of your raise to someone that didn't help you raise. Right. And I don't mean it, and nobody's expecting the portals, and not even WallStreet, to bring you all your people and to handhold yourself through nobody's expecting that. That's unrealistic. So if you're a founder expecting that, reconsider. This is not for you. But there is a level of support that is expected for the amount of money that portals have the potential to make off of our backs. And so there is an expectation that for that money, you do something, right, that's going to be beneficial to me. And so what I'm hearing here tonight, I'll let you jump in a minute, Jamsky. What I'm hearing here tonight is you guys have thought through that and you're doing your part in the offering. It's still, the founder still has to do the work, right? Founders, this is on you. Part of that readiness, part of the thing we talk about in our courses, the time you have available for this thing, right? Because it is very, very hard to be the CEO and build this company that you love and raise capital for this company that you love. You essentially now have 2 jobs, right? And if you don't have a team, if you're a lone CEO trying to do it all, the odds are you won't be successful, right? So you have got to make sure you have the right resources, and you have to make sure the portal you decide to go to has the right resources to help you. Right? So maybe you don't have a marketer in-house and a brand manager in-house, but you got Shantae, right? For a reasonable price, you can tap into her expertise, right? So consider all of that when you're making these decisions. You know, I know it's easy sometimes to say, but the big 3 have, 500,000 people in the mailing list, right? They're not giving you their 500,000 people, y'all. I'm just telling you right now. You ain't never gonna get your campaign, and I said gonna get, right? Your campaign sent to 500,000 of their people. It's not gonna happen. So yes, they have 500,000 people, but you need to be asking about how many of those people realistically do you get to tap into when you make these decisions? Go ahead, Jamsky, what were you gonna say?
Before Jamsky jump on, I just wanted to elaborate on that. Number one, Jamsky, I think it was Shantae mentioned earlier, because again, we're not lacking deal flow at all. we getting deal flow. We're not lacking at all. But one of the things that we all agreed on is that we rather quality than quantity. It's easy. We can just throw some campaigns on there, like go ahead and do it. But our thing is this, and I was telling the founder this a couple of weeks ago, who mentioned what you just mentioned, Tawana, and I said, if we approve you on our platform, that means we have faith in your business model. That means we trust that you can raise the money. That means you're capable of doing it. So like Jamsky said, the moment you go on our platform, we're not waiting for you to hit a milestone, then say, okay, here's the community. Like, no, if we approve you, we trust you. So right. Day one, the floodgate's gonna open up. Now, we can't force nobody to invest in you, but we're not gonna hold back either. Because if you go through our process and we interview you, we go through the forum, see, we actually help create the campaign for you. If you approve, why are we waiting? we're gonna expose it to all our people.
You are my
I
hero.
just want
You are my hero with that. I'm gonna tell you why. The last 2 months, several of our campaigns have come to 10K Project because they needed us to help them get through the family and friends round, right? On the platform that they're on, they need 50K to be able to get to that next phase. So you raise the 50K, then after you do that, your campaign is live to the public, right? After you then raise a little bit more, then we give you a portion of our mailing list. You raise a little bit more, we give you another little portion on mailing list. That's the game they play. I love what you just said because that's what our people need to be successful, right? Don't play games. If you believe in them, then open it up to them. Let them all be as successful as possible. Because at the end of the day, it's the investor's choice, right? I get to decide as the investor if I want to invest. You know how many emails I get because I'm a crowdfunding investor, right? I got all the I invest in all the portals. You know how many emails I get from portals? I don't invest in all of them. I don't click on all the campaigns, right? Even though I get emails that say you invested in such and such, so we think you're going to like this. Well, what you think I'm going to like ain't nothing like what I invest in. First of all, ain't none of them ever Black, right? So I invested in this Black company that does this, and you send me all this other foolishness, right? So that's a disconnect. That's a problem to begin with. But I am smart enough to invest in the companies that are going to fit in my portfolio, whatever that is, right? And that's different for all of us. And so let the people decide, expose them to all the people, and then let all the people decide if they are the next unicorn company, right? If they're adding value in their industry. If I had a hat, I'd take it off because that alone is going to change the experience of a founder. The fact that you are saying, this is who we are. This is our network. Here, you can have it from jump. That's huge, guys. That's huge.
So I want to kind of expound on that a little bit more, right? So we see these large numbers on social media being raised by these VCs and whatever accredited investors and things of that sort, right? And then you hear about these new initiatives, how you said now Black people are sexy, and everybody from Sony to this company, we're gonna create a minority fund or whatever, right? So you guys, we got 60 plus people in here. Understand, right? Me and TL just had this talk. They're saying these things live on TV, how we're going to create a fund to invest in Black-owned or minority businesses or whatnot. But understand, they're doing this, but how they're doing this is like when you playing with a toy and your younger sibling want that toy and your mama say, you better give it to them. And you like, like, you got food and you got to share, like, get a piece. And you give them a little crumb or whatever.
Grudgingly,
only
right?
Doing it because somebody says something about it. So, we're going to create a fund for Black minorities, but our minorities are going to these funds to get funded, and they're still not getting funded. You still have to go through hoops and ladders to get this funding. And then the ones that do get funded, maybe they got a Black person, but maybe they have a minority, but maybe he's like Indian and Asian, and those founders are like that. And then they end up getting funded, right? So that's how that works, right? We spoke about founders. Let's kind of get into investors, right? The different types of investors, why equity crowdfunding is so helpful and so important to the minority, I would say the Black-owned community, right? Because, we know about the Jobs Act. You have you preach to them about the Jobs Act in 2012, allow non-accredited investors to eventually invest in startups and invest in companies, right? So that's that. But however, now, I don't know if you guys are aware, but I don't know if it's the Supreme Court, but they're trying to change what it means to be an accredited investor. So right now, as it stands, an accredited investor, $200,000 a year, $1 million net worth, $300,000 a year if you're married, right? But now that was created in like 1982, right? And then it's supposed to be updated like every 4 years or so, and it hasn't been updated. So now the higher ups, the extremely wealthy people are like, wow. You look at Atlanta alone, and Black people are becoming extremely wealthy, right? Every time you turn around, this Black, I just did $1 million, 12 million. I got this business. So we need to up the ante. They're starting to catch up. And whenever we start to catch up, what do? That finish line, for whatever reason, always tends to be extended, right? So now they're saying, due to inflation, right, that the new standard of what it means to be an accredited investor, meaning that in order for me to invest in the Googles and the Facebooks and the Amazons and the Teslas, before they went public, pre-IPO, you're looking at $500,000 a year, right? Single, $750,000 a year as a married couple, and a $2.5 million net worth. So while we've had some success and some progress, we still haven't really had a large number of minorities reach the first threshold of what it means to be an accredited investor. And before now, they see a little progress, and for them, 1% progress. Oh, they're progressing by 1%. Let's up the ante. So now you mean to tell me now I have to be doing $500,000 a year, $750,000 a year if I'm married, and $2.5 million net worth minus my primary residence. So my parents bought this house in 1990 and gave it to me, and now it's mine, and it's worth over $1 million. I can't use this.
Can't even use it.
So this is why crowdfunding is so important. So now we spoke about how, yeah, you want to go to the VCs, but they ain't really giving us money like that, like how they, promoting, right? So that's on that end, right? Going to get funding. And now to invest in these deals and increase my wealth, like Elon Musk just bought Twitter, right? And if I was a accredited investor and I was able to get into that Twitter back in the day or whatever, I'd be able to cash out or whatever. But now they're going to push that back even more. So this is why it is very important for us to understand how crowdfunding works and get to this industry before they start changing rules and things of that sort. Now, secondly, we got 60 people in this group, right? 60 founders, right? We always talk about group economics. So this is a way that we can reach our goals and create a more certain or a more level of certainty as to how we can reach our goals. If one of these owners or founders put up a campaign and there's over 100 plus people that's founders, if everybody can say, I will commit $500 to this campaign, right? So we're talking about $500 amongst 100, 500 plus all these different groups with Curtis, you and everybody, all these different groups. And if everybody practice group economics down to the root of what the term means and not just just saying it just to say it, and we leverage these people that we have in numbers, right? I could do 500. I'm a founder, so I'm not talking about like we were talking about these are supposed to be business owners.
Right.
So you can do 500 to this campaign. So this campaign goes up, 100 plus people invest in this. You reach your $25,000, $50,000 mark. Now, when this person goes up, you take some of that money you just got from the people and you invest in this campaign. Don't you think that would create a more level of certainty as far as us hitting those numbers that we want to hit? And that's just the people within that ecosystem. We're not talking about the marketing and those things outside of that prominent ecosystem, those people investing into that. Because the thing about it is that as more people start to see people investing in that initiative together, this is real group economics. This is how it works. I'm explaining it to you right now, right? More people on the outside, monkey see, monkey do. Oh, I want to get a part. I want to become a part of that. We ain't talking about no shoe thing and you sign up this. No, we're talking about group economics down to the core of what it means. And we're talking about building wealth and creating wealth. That's what we're talking about. So now you got the money to scale to grow your business, right? Mm-hmm. Now your valuation of your business has gone up, and whoever owns those tokens or whatnot, if you want to cash out, you can cash out. This business is sexy now. I need that money. I raised the 50,000. I'm able to hire another person. I got a marketing budget. The marketing budget allowed me to scale my company to a higher valuation. Now this person can cash out and this person can get in there, and now you got more money coming in, right? And now we're doing this with business after business. We want to build businesses that are going to sustain through the test of time. I'm tired of the fly-by-night businesses. We want Black businesses that are going to sustain. In 10 years, you're not still doing $250,000 a year. You should be doing a $250,000 a year, but you should be doing, we need more $5-10 million a year businesses. Right. And this is how we're going to do it, by all of us supporting each other in this sense right here. All that $2 trillion in spending power. We invest in ourselves. So I just want to say that I got to leave shortly, but I just want to kind of.
No, that was good. That was good. I could talk to you guys all night, but we all got to leave shortly. So let me say this, and then we'll kind of give some closing remarks. Something you just said. So one of the things we do at the 10K Project when we do our Bet on Black pitches, and for those of you who are not members, you're here joining for the first time, go to the10kproject.com, look at our website. You'll see all of the benefits of membership, but the main benefit of membership is that you get to get a front seat at a founder's Bet on Black pitch, right? So we're not talking 5 minutes where they tell you everything you need to know about their company. We're talking an intimate evening, right, of hour and a half where we're talking to them. They're talking about the company. They're talking about their goals, their dreams, their desires, talking about their backgrounds. And then at the end of the evening, you're determining if you want that to fit in your portfolio, right? And so it's a more intimate experience than you just looking at a pitch video, on the website. And founders they love the process. But one of the things we do every Tuesday when we have those pitches is we're listening at this campaign for where the connections can be made for people that have already pitched with us or for relationships we already have, right? And so that secretly become the best part of the job for me is after pitch is over, right? It'll be 10 o'clock at night and I'm sitting back and I'm now sending introduction emails because a pitch we had 5 weeks ago is going to be perfect for them to make a relationship with, right? And so last week we did something special where we brought back 4 founders whose campaign was getting ready to close at the end of this month. And a beautiful moment on screen was when they said they were all going to invest in each other. And it literally brought tears to my eyes where I had to like get myself together because I was like, that's it. That's it. The Founders Network. That's it. Immediately so if y'all take the Founders Network, I'm coming for you, right? Because the Founders Network kicked in my head and I thought that's the next logical step for 10K. We're already making these we're already doing that. Now we need to formalize it, right? And get that Founders Network so that they can do exactly what Jamsky just said. Exactly what you just said. And it was just last Tuesday that I had that epiphany. I'm like, you're doing this and you love what you get from it, but this needs to be formalized. And so you actually just sealed it for me, right? That was, they say you need that confirmation, right? That was just the confirmation I needed for what I thought was the next logical step because they understand the struggle. Right? The investors is one thing. We're still going to be there to support them and love on them and build our wealth. But who knows better the struggle than another founder?
That's why y'all dope.
That's why y'all dope. I love this. I have gushed on y'all from the moment I met you. I was so proud you took this up, even with the challenges. I was so proud you didn't give up. You, like I said, these guys work with the delays. They worked as if the approval letter, as if they saw it already. They were working as if that's that God love, right? When you already know. So you keep working because you know it's coming, right? And whenever it comes, you're going to be ready. That's what you're looking at here on this screen. And so when you see this team, I want you to know that I personally know that they're hardworking. You look at the offerings, you should now know that they stand in a class by themselves. So we don't have to ask the question, why Crowd Wall Street anymore? They told you why. They showed you why. Go to the website and figure out what it is and how you fit, right? If you're an investor, when all the campaigns are up and running, we don't do the rewards right now. We focus on equity crowdfunding, right? Because we're trying to get to that generational wealth fast, right? Because we a community making up for lost time. So we don't do rewards at 10K, but we focus on equity. And so when those equity campaigns come up, we're going to be right there, right? We're going to be cheering on your founders. Hopefully some of them will want to come to the 10K and get in front of our investor community and give us a front seat, at an opportunity. We are here to support you guys to the end. Every connection, everybody I know, I send your way, right? And when they report back, I'm like, I told y'all. They all report back like, man, you wasn't playing about those guys. They what's up? I'm like, I told you. You didn't believe me, so I love that you guys are holding up the where I'm putting you on. I know I'm not supposed to put you on a pedestal, but you special, and you need to know that this community needs to know how special you are.
We gotta give you your flowers, you guys, everybody in this group. Understand that Tawana, we gotta give you your flowers because you was very instrumental in us reaching these milestones. Okay, so we wouldn't have got here if it wasn't for you. So we definitely, everybody in this group, like, we go back, man. We've been like, Tawana knows she's speaking from experience and a lot of stuff that we had to go to attorneys trying to hit us across the head, all this stuff. Tawana was very instrumental in us getting, through with this process. And the beginning stages of going, dealing with the SEC and all this structure, all this craziness that we had to deal with. So Tawana, we want to give you your flowers as well. You know, so we kind of represent you in a sense as well, because, you know, each one teach one. And you know, you guys put some things in front of us to help us kind of navigate this thing, you know. So
And
yeah,
just to piggyback off of that before we close out, me and Jamsky already talked about this, so it's safe for me to make this announcement that any founder that comes through the 10K project to Crowd Wall Street, our typical campaign success fee is 5%, but any campaign that come through, any offering that come through 10K project, we're doing 4% for each founder that comes through our platform. Yes.
But they got to be confirmed now to one. We would 10K. Nah.
Listen, we will confirm that. We ain't no okie doke gonna happen. Yeah, right. We gonna make sure. Yeah, we got a good roster.
Okay.
Yeah. So we doing 4%. 4% for any company that comes through 10K project.
That is huge, guys.
You know how huge that is. That's man. They ain't doing that.
Huge. Thank you. And
that's how much
every founder that's gonna take advantage of that. Thank you very much. That's big, guys. You out there, now's the time, guys. We've been saying this for years. Now's the time. Now's the time for you to dust off that journal you got somewhere that's got a great business idea in it, right? Find it in the closet, dust it off. Now's the perfect time for you to rally around that family member that you know he's failed 4 times, but this one sounds like it could be something. Take a chance on him. Now is the time. We don't have to wait for anybody else, right? We all we need. We got it right here. The formula is right here. We got a portal that's ready to accept you and to make sure you're ready, right? So between their university, right, their Crowd Wall Street University, between the Road to Crowdfunding course that we have here at 10K and all the stuff that we talk about, there's no reason to not do something. And I say this all the time. You don't have to do everything you see out there, but you gotta do something, because nobody's knocking on the door and handing you anything. And if they do, I want to know where you live so I can move next door. If they just knock and giving shit out on the weekend, I want to live there too. But nobody is knocking on your door. We have to own this thing. We have to own it, guys. And now's the time. You need resources, you need connections. That's what they got their ecosystem. We got our ecosystem. The two come together. There are other people that have that. Come on now. You know, you get enough ecosystems together, we can take over the world. I believe that thing. And we can do it. We can absolutely do it. Support your people, support our people. So let's support each other. Let's get this thing done. Let's make saying generational wealth not just something we put on a t-shirt. Let's start having the portfolio to prove it. Let's start having the bank account to prove it. Let's start educating our children now, right? Stop hiding the financial conversations from them. Welcome them into the conversation. One day it'll make sense to them. It may not now. One day it will. Don't be so proudful if you're struggling. Help them understand what that looks like too, right? We got to have this conversation about finances and wealth and credit and all of those things. And we have to have it now. Our future depends on it. The future of our generations depend on it. What we do today matters in 50 years. It matters. Don't think it doesn't matter because we might not be here. It matters in 50 years. With that note, I love you guys. I'm screaming from the rooftops. I love this 10K community. And we're going to be all right, guys. We're going to be all right. All we got to do is pay attention and act, right? And we're going to put enough things in front of you so that you won't have any excuses, right? Alternative investment opportunities. Now we got tokenization of real estate. Yes. This getting ready to happen.
Yep.
Guys, thank you so much. Peace and blessings. I love you. I love you all. Genevieve and Shantae, I love y'all now by extension. I love you, love you, love you. This is wonderful. Crowd Wall Street all day.
We love you too.
I need
Likewise,
a shirt.
Queen.
You need a shirt. We got you.
Extra large.
Yeah.
I need a shirt.
We got you.
My Crowd Wall Street shirt on
And I'm
time.
coming to pitch for the 10K project with my
Come
tech
on,
company.
baby. Come on. I
We're
might
gonna give you a shirt and a hoodie.
I'm shirt and a hoodie. I love that. And I might, Shantae, I may need some branding consultation. So
Hey, I'm here for it.
listen.
I'm here for it.
So
I
Wanda,
can
what
take
city are
advantage
you
of
out
the
of?
ecosystem, huh?
What city are you out of?
I'm in Louisville, Kentucky.
Okay,
Come
because we
through
want to do
there
like a Met
on my
Gala.
way home.
You sure do. Yeah, if you
Yes,
coming
I
through from
do.
yep, you
Sometimes I
do.
stop. I have a cousin that lives there, so I
Okay,
stop and visit.
so we may have to exchange some emails.
All right then.
So yeah, Tawana, before we go, we're planning on doing something at the end of the year or whatnot, like a Met Gala type thing. So maybe we can cultivate all the brands and all the people and kind of bring everybody together. It'll probably be like in Miami and Atlanta. We don't know yet. We're putting it together. But that'd be something that'd be pretty dope. Getting
That'd be
all
dope.
these founders and everybody together and this Black excellence and one. Oh man, just I think that'd be dope. So it's
I
something we
agree.
putting together. So
Keep me posted. I'm in. And any of the founders that we've had, we've been doing our pitches from since March, since the first Tuesday of last March, right? So we got about 60, 70 founders that have pitched with us. We've got a ton more that are in our community. We there. We there.
Okay.
All right. All right,
Okay.
everyone. This was a wonderful evening. I knew it would be.
All
I
right,
love
all right.
you all. Have a wonderful rest of your week and just do one thing towards your future plans this week. One thing, just one thing. That's all you got to do is one thing towards your future plans this week. One thing with 50 years away from now in mind. Promise me that. All right, guys. Have a good one.
Blessings.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.